They called her the Queen of Excess. To the people, she was the face of a failing monarchy. To her friends, a misunderstood woman trapped in a world of power she never asked for. On a cold October morning in 1793, Marie Antoinette, once the most powerful woman in Europe, faced a roaring crowd that was screaming for her death. This is Biography Plus, where we bring history back to life and uncover the real stories behind power, pride, and punishment. Stay with us, because this story will take you deep inside the fall of a queen and the day France lost its crown. Don't forget to subscribe. You won't want to miss what's next. Born in 1755 in Vienna, Austria, Maria Antonia Josefa Johanna, who the world would come to know as Marie Antoinette, was the 15th child of the formidable Empress Maria Theresa. From the very beginning, her life was not her own. At just 14 years old, she was a political pawn, married off to the French heir, Louis Auguste, to seal a fragile alliance between Austria and France. She arrived at the glittering palace of Versailles like an angel of luxury, adorned in silks, draped in jewels, and glowing with the promise of royalty. But beneath that dazzling surface, she stepped into a viper's nest. The French court was a maze of factions and rivalries, and the country itself was bleeding from corruption, inequality, and a deep-seated class divide. At first, the people were captivated. This young queen fascinated them with her charm, her beauty, her infectious laughter. But the honeymoon period was tragically short. Soon, rumors began to spread like wildfire. They whispered that she gambled away fortunes, that she hosted debaucherous secret parties, and that she squandered millions on extravagant gowns and diamonds while the common people starved in the streets. It didn't matter that most of these stories were exaggerated or outright lies. The narrative had been set. Perception had already written her tragic story. Before long, she was branded with a new name, Madame Deficit, the woman who had single-handedly bankrupted France. Versailles, once a symbol of her status, became a gilded prison. Behind every polite smile, she felt suspicion. Behind every fluttering fan, she heard a whisper of hatred. Meanwhile, out in the streets of Paris, a real crisis was unfolding. Bread, the staple of life for the poor, had all but vanished. Hunger turned to simmering anger, and that anger was about to erupt into a full-blown revolution. By 1789, the storm had broken. The Bastille, a symbol of royal tyranny, had fallen. The people of France demanded a new nation, a nation without kings, without queens, and without the chains of the old regime. Marie, terrified yet fiercely proud, stood by her husband, King Louis XVI, as the world they knew crumbled around them. In a desperate gamble, they tried to flee. A frantic night ride, disguised as commoners, their carriage thundering down dark roads toward the promise of freedom. But their hope was short-lived. Near the town of Varennes, they were recognized. A face on a coin was their undoing. They were captured, arrested, and dragged back to Paris, no longer as monarchs, but as traitors to their own people. The trial that followed was not about justice. It was about vengeance. The revolution demanded a sacrifice. King Louis XVI was the first to face the guillotine, his head held aloft before a cheering, bloodthirsty crowd. Marie was left utterly alone. No husband, no crown, no allies. All she had were her memories and the crushing weight of a nation's hatred. Then came the cruelest blow of all. Her children were torn from her arms. Her son, barely 8 years old, was locked away, brutalized, and manipulated into testifying against his own mother, accusing her of unspeakable acts. That betrayal broke her spirit in a way the fear of death never could. Finally, the morning of October 16, 1793 arrived. The sky was a grim, flat gray. The wind was cold. Her cell door creaked open. Marie Antoinette, now 37, emerged not in a royal gown, but in a simple, plain white dress. There were no jewels, no guards of honor, only a chilling silence. As she was led to the open cart that would carry her through the jeering crowds to the Place de la Révolution, she held her head high. The stress and torment of her imprisonment had turned her hair completely white. In a final, quiet moment of grace, she accidentally stepped on her executioner's foot. She turned to him and whispered her last words. "Pardon me, sir. I did not mean to do it." Minutes later, the blade fell. The queen who once ruled France was gone. But her story didn't end there. Even as her blood stained the wooden platform, the world began to question the narrative. Was she truly the monster that history had made her out to be? Many historians now argue that Marie Antoinette was, in fact, a scapegoat, a convenient symbol for all the problems the revolution sought to destroy. Others suggest she was simply too young, too sheltered, and too unprepared to grasp the immense suffering of her people. And that infamous line, "Let them eat cake?" She never said it. Those words were propaganda, invented by her enemies decades earlier and pinned on her. A perfect line for a perfect lie, designed to fuel the people's rage. Today, the magnificent Palace of Versailles still stands. Its hall of mirrors reflects not just the splendor of absolute power, but also the profound fragility of the people who wielded it. Some say if you walk its grand halls at dusk, you can still hear the faint rustle of a silk gown, and the whisper of a woman who until the very end never truly understood why her people hated her so deeply. Marie Antoinette's death was more than the end of a queen. It was the end of an entire era. Her tragic fall marked the violent birth of modern Europe and serves as a chilling reminder that even those who seem untouchable can be brought down when the world beneath them finally breaks. This is Biography Plus, where we tell the stories of those who lived, ruled, and sometimes paid the ultimate price for their place in history. If this story moved you, please give it a like, share it with a friend, and subscribe to our channel. Because next time, we'll uncover another incredible truth, hidden behind the walls of time. Thank you for watching.